This could be introduction to Lottie animations. Lottie animations are the small files that are animated, and why not use a GIF? Well, GIFs are limited to 256 colors, and Lotties are smaller in file size and can be interactive. And you can take a look in the description for the URL, but of this website, you can see interaction could be having this wheel go left and right, and the little critters also running around the wheel as you drag your mouse. You also get a bunch of interactions such as scroll triggered animations like this. And so Lottie, great little file sizes that could do a lot more than animate. But in this video, it's the introduction of just getting started with animating. And you animate using After Effects. And this will show you briefly how to use After Effects. We'll start off with doing a full cycle, like how to create this simple animation. And then we'll take that concept and make it slightly more complex, but it's not complex in the task. It's more complex in the artwork we use. Let's get started. Go to Creative Cloud, go to Stock and Marketplace, click on Plugins. For plugins, and type out Body Movin'. And load up this plugin by just clicking on it. I already installed it. And now you're ready to get started in After Effects. This is After Effects. I'm going to just start a new project, create a new composition, and I'm going to call this Circle. It's already did an animated square. This is the size of the canvas. This is number of frames, 300 frames. You might see this in hour, minutes, and seconds. So 300 frames is equal to 10 seconds. If I just want a 5-second animation, that's 150 frames, or type in 5 seconds if you see the other format. And how do you see the other format? Well, if you command click here on a Mac, and you go back under composition settings, you'll see now it's in hour, minutes, seconds format. I want frames because frames are a little easier to do the math on. All right, draw out a circle and you'll find your shapes right here. You click and select the ellipse tool. Hold down the shift key and just drag out the circle. You'll find other tutorials on using After Effects and getting started in the description. So check out the description to see how to do the basics and even well beyond the basics. You'll find lots of links there. Here's my circle, and this is the timeline. Close this render queue. Don't need to see that. To animate this scaling, we need to create keys. I'm going to click this triangle. I'm going to expose all the transformations down here. You can move the scale, rotation, change the opacity, position. Select and deselect the object. You just click off somewhere in this empty spot of the composition and click on again. I want to do a scale animation. At this frame, it's going to be 100%. After it does the whole animation, I want it to loop. And there's different ways to make things loop. I'm showing just the keyframe way. I'm going to click this icon right here and inserts or removes the keyframe. So I have the keyframe at 100% at the beginning of time and 150 frames later. It's also at 100%. Somewhere in the middle, which would be, doing the math, 75 frames. And you can see what frame I'm at right here. But also click that number and just type 75 to go exactly to frame 75. Other technique is to scrub, drag this playback head, which is scrubbing time, but not exactly clicking to 75 frames. So I can hold down the command and right arrow, just move my playback head to 75 frames, which you can see down here is 2 seconds and 15 frames. I'm going to drag the numbers by just clicking, dragging down. Another way would be just to click in the field and type in 50. Maybe I want to go smaller, maybe down to 10%. And there's our first animation. Well, it's not animating. Drag the playback head to the beginning and press the space bar to preview the animation. Now, it looks a little staggered, and that's because in my preview settings, Need to expand this. I'm skipping every other frame. So I'm going to skip no frames. Actually, I'm skipping 2 frames. Now when I press the space bar, there's a nice smooth animation. This breathing dot. We could go into tangents and doing other things, but this is just getting started before we do something slightly more complex, getting it out there to the web, and then repeating that with more advanced animation. All right, I have this animation. Let me save my file. Always a good idea to save. All right, how do we get this to the web? Sure, we can make it a GIF, as I mentioned, 256 colors, but does that matter here? No, but this is a sample that, yes, we could do a lot more once you understand the process. We can have a much more complex and even interactive animation, which you can't do with a GIF, by using Lottie format. So how do we get this to the web? Since I already loaded the plugin, go under Window, and I'll find the plugin under Extensions and clicking on Body Moving. A window will pop up. There's the window popping up. First, you need to render this animation, and then everything's good. Selecting on which composition, and these are compositions right here, but select that composition. I'm going to click a destination path by clicking here, and I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this one Circle. Clicking on Save, and now click the Render button. And it's done. Such a small animation. Click on Done. Well, how to prove it's there before you hook it up to the web? Click on Preview and click Current Renders. And our current render is Circle. And then click the play icon. Wow, right? There's our circle. All right, so I proved it's there. We're done with After Effects. The rest of the magic happens in HTML land. I already set up a regular HTML file, and in the description, you then just copy and paste this script into the head of your HTML file. This will connect the ability of this page to this file to play Lottie animations. You use this Lottie player HTML right here to play out an animation, a non-interactive one. We're just starting. And you can see that the backgrounds could be transparent, which could be excellent. So you can have photographs, background colors of the page beneath this animation that's playing. So you could think of great creative uses for this. Well, let me just get this one to play. So I need to point to that file that I just rendered, that Lottie file, save. But before I see this play, remember, this is a path to a file. And it's going to be relative. I'm declaring it relative, not saying go to the subfolder, go to absolute directory. I'm saying that this Lottie file should be right next to this HTML file. So I need to place my Lottie file by copying and pasting it right next to it, or if you're working live on a server, you need to upload it relatively next to this file. Go to my Lottie folder, and I'll just copy and see and paste it next to my index file. Paste. Now that this circle.json is relative to this code and this source is saying, hey, go relative to this page. And that was a lot of talk just so we could go to the web page and see our animation. So we have a direct connection between doing stuff in After Effects and here. All right, let's do something a little more fun in the next video where we'll animate something a little more complex, but not necessarily complex in technique of animation, just complex dealing with vector shapes.